burning ember. It warmed us as the cold winds blow. We had sunshine in December and grew our roses in the snow.
Oh, yeah. I got going to have some roses in the snow, maybe.
Maybe.
Next week. Good morning. Good morning. I'm Rayford Brown.
Good morning. I'm Lee Barrows, and I just wanted to get up and start square dancing.
And Lee is out here. Kelly is out here somewhere on the road. She stopped in what was a little mud puddle.
I don't hear sirens yet.
And it froze her tires to the pavement. She is caught in a block of ice. She literally, just believe me, trust me.
It was when I got up and looked at my weather thing. Mine says 17. I get here. Yours says 13.
Yeah, well, it depends upon two different places on this property.
Oh, yes.
3 different places on this property. One says 12, one says 13. That's the sort of semi-official one out there. There's one that's 14.
I do believe that's probably been the lowest so far to date.
Yeah,
this winter.
It is.
Yes.
Well, the one out there that says 12.
Now, next week, they're talking about having a hard cold freeze for like 72 hours.
And we're going to have some precipitation. Yes. I mean, some kind of liquid or formerly liquid going to be falling from the sky.
There's
something. We don't know.
We don't know yet.
Lots to talk about the 4-letter word, the S word. No, not that one. Snow. And
I'm glad you said it.
What?
And not me.
What? Y'all just
no, it's the truth though. There has been a lot of talk over the last couple of weeks. Of course, you have to sit there.
That far out is forget about it.
You have to wait to see if all the elements come together.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say in June we're going to have a chance of showers and thunderstorms.
I'm writing that down.
On the week of 17 June.
I'm writing that down so we can because we've already written down our predictions. My predictions were January to February.
My predictions are based on absolutely nothing except 2 things: math. What are the odds? Since we haven't had it lately. And then
what did you say that was?
17 June.
T-storm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this thing will get you high. These Sharpies.
Yeah.
May 17th.
Don't enjoy them so much.
I'm not. I just get, as soon as you open it, it's like you breathe it and you're just like.
Yeah. Well, we got something else to talk about today. Coming up on Monday. On Monday.
Oh, that's right.
It's a holiday.
I feel like it's Christmas.
It's Martin Luther King Day.
Yes, God bless that man.
Yep.
He did a lot for
Martin Luther King holiday is on Monday. And also there's something else happening up there in Washington. And we've had a couple of occasions on the 20th of January in years past.
Right.
During an inauguration where they had snow.
Yes.
Lots of snow.
Yes.
And one of them was Kennedy's inauguration.
I don't remember.
I remember watching that, and I'm like, okay, is this a normal thing?
I was a child.
Why y'all take this to the gym or something? I kept asking as a little kid. Of course, they didn't listen to me. They should have.
I have some good friends that are going to the inauguration. And this morning when I first turned on the TV, it automatically goes to Spectrum News out of the western part of the state. And they said, we've got an interview upcoming with blah, 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 who's going to be at that. And I knew who it was, and I had to sit there and wait for her to come on. She lives in the western part of the state, and she's our RNC committee chairwoman for North Carolina.
Okay.
In fact, she's called this show before.
Okay. Well, she calls Monday. She'll be calling from where it's
outside.
Gonna be really cold.
I got so tickled because I was on a Zoom meeting last night with the GOP and the district. Because I'm still on the district level.
Did you not tell them to get their mess together?
Well, it's convention time, and I'm on the committee for the rules.
Some kind of a party. That's why they call it the grand old party, right?
And the girls the girls that are going were talking about. They had the heated oven mitts. They had not oven mitts, heated hand mitts. Yeah, I knew that was wrong. And all the stuff that they were wearing to try to keep. They're going to weigh an extra 100 pounds because they're going to stand outside for this.
Not a me problem. If I watch it, I'll be on the TV.
There's no way I would go.
No,
I can enjoy much more watching it live on TV.
There you go.
And being warm.
And Kelly has arrived.
Yep, I'm here.
So, hey, Kelly.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
What's wrong with your phone?
It's charging.
It's dead.
It's dead.
I didn't charge mine up last night either, but I still have quite a bit left. So
I fell asleep and forgot to plug it in. I should have done
Sleep?
that first. I
you
know.
find time to sleep?
I know, which is why I'm here late. Yes,
Mhm.
shockingly.
Well, you needed it then.
Yeah.
And then you
I
had to
did.
wake up and go out into the
It's cold out.
Antarctic.
It's freezing out there. My ears are cold.
13.
I know. Oh my Lord.
You didn't know that?
No.
Oh, it's 18 at the air station because it's on the river.
Right.
And
Oh, my.
it's warmer there at 3 different locations here on this property. I got sensors in places. This is the medium one. This is 13. It's 12 at one location. It's 14 at another.
Well,
Oh,
I had 17 when I got
Yeah.
my truck, and I was like, what? That's when I thought,
Well, you
wait a
live in an
minute.
asphalt jungle.
Yeah.
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 Lots
There's,
of pavement around.
there's a lot of sidewalks.
Lots of houses around.
And houses.
Mhm.
Yes, yes.
People
People.
generating that climate thing.
Yeah, every time they open their front doors, they let heat out.
Yeah.
That warms us up.
Well, y'all need to open your front doors a little bit more often right now.
Right.
And today's another day. Kelly,
Of hearings.
happy birthday.
Oh gosh.
Whose birthday?
I was trying to
Oh. Well, happy birthday.
Well, thank you. I was just trying to be quiet about it.
Somehow it was on the calendar.
I don't find that calendar.
Well, I didn't even notice it on the calendar. Where's the calendar? We don't have a calendar in here.
On the computer, there's a calendar.
Oh, I didn't.
Well, I don't have it
I'll
on my
go in there and
computer.
fix that right now.
No, you can't because this is on a different calendar.
Well, take care of
Well,
that.
thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Just a quiet day.
And
Gonna
it
go
shows
watch.
up on our TV up front in the house too. Every time you first turn it on, it shows up. Ding.
Oh yeah.
For the
okay,
next
that's
2 or
good.
3 days, it shows up
Robbie is so
things.
tech savvy. The stuff when I went into the kitchen a couple days ago, she's got that, and I almost bought one. It's an electronic calendar that you just put up on the wall,
Oh,
and you
hers
can do
does.
other things with it.
Hers
She
watches
can watch
TV.
TV, yes.
She can watch, get recipes. She can do all sorts of stuff. It mirrors everything that we got anywhere in the house.
Well, I told you
And
that's
that,
what I
and that
bought
camera
myself.
in the bathroom has just got to go.
The camera in the
In the
bathroom.
bathroom, yeah, she's got a camera in one of the bathrooms.
I hope it's not this one.
That's creepy.
I'm looking when I go in there
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, have
Have you
mercy.
ever wondered about that though? When you go into
You will
bathrooms
now.
in the public, bathrooms, and you see a little hole in the ceiling or something, you're like,
Oh, there have been so many cases of that. They had it
Yes.
at Carolina Beach at a particular store there, and I know somebody that got nailed by it.
right.
A female.
Oh,
It was they saw bathing suits at the place too. And she went into the changing room and there they were. A little hole in the wall. Didn't have a camera. Had a little tiny hole. up there.
well, you could probably from the other side of the wall peek through.
Yeah, that's what they did.
Yeah.
There was
Oh,
some
that's
creep. Oh, there was some creep
Peeping
there.
perverts.
I hate that.
And she wasn't a shy lady, so she told us all about it. And guess who got caught?
Wow.
The dude.
Uh-huh. Heck
The
yeah.
clerk got caught.
Good.
He's not the first time it's happened. It happens all. It used to happen all the time. Pervert. Good gracious, guys, go online.
Mhm.
Of course, I guess they didn't have computers in those days, but
Go online.
you can see everything online. So why go peek in some bathroom
because
somewhere?
they're sick individuals.
Well, that too. Okay, coming up on Monday, there's a big old event in addition to Martin Luther King's birthday celebration of his birth. One of those Monday federal holidays, so they could take the whole weekend off. Except this year, Trump
3 days.
and those evil Republicans threw a wrench into this thing. They got Trump elected, and he's going to have a big old inauguration, and people are going to freeze their hind ends off out there in the
Cold.
snow. So things are going to be happening. Anybody going? Any of y'all going or planning to go up
I think
there?
Laura's going if she's listening.
Who?
Laura.
Okay.
So
well,
is
I know some of my friends from Carl.
Lori's going.
Oh, that's right. Lori Di Giovanni.
Yeah, she's
call
going.
us.
I'm
Tell us
going
what
to.
you-
I'm
She's
send
going to
her
one
a
of the
message.
balls. She's got tickets to one of the
really?
balls. Yeah,
That's right, I
Lori does.
forgot.
Has
Yeah,
she got her outfit yet or
I'm
costume?
sure she does. I would assume.
Listen, if she wants something, I will loan her something that will get a lot of attention at this ball. That mask over there on the table.
Oh, don't you dare! No,
She could wear that.
No,
I
guarantee you
I
she
finally
would.
took it down because it was creeping me out so bad to have that face behind
I
me.
wonder what was over there.
Well, he wasn't smelling your hair.
No,
That's
but
true.
it's just a
So
creepy
you're okay.
mask
Why? It's just a mask of a man that's
that likes to
served-
sniff hair. I just
who
didn't like
served
him behind
50
me.
years. He's committed 50 years of service to this country.
Yeah.
If you don't believe it, listen to it.
Thank you for that.
I
And-
listened to it.
No, I listened to that speech last night.
I listened to the replays. And
Did
stuff.
it jabs in there?
Well, what did you expect him to do? He's a bitter man.
He's
And
very
I don't
bitter.
blame him.
You
I'd
could
be
tell
bitter
that.
too.
I agree.
But he's bitter at the wrong people. Be bitter to fellow Democrats.
Oh,
They're the
God,
ones that set this in
he threw
motion.
some barbs.
have to blame somebody, and he
Mhm.
could not do well blaming his Democrats. Okay, his Democrat friends. That would not do well at all, because it's not our fault. You know, you could have run if you wanted to.
Well,
'cause
you know,
we didn't make you not run.
we've all been deputized now because he said in his speech last night that it was in our hands now. It's in your hands now to take care of the country.
So
So
then get out of town.
we've all been deputized.
I wonder how
That-
many are going to
me-
read into that and act a fool.
Well, oh yeah, like January 6th.
Yeah, I just seriously, why would make a stupid statement like that?
No, you
Well-
know, it's going to be an interesting time, and the one thing that we can give to whoever would be president this time
Mhm.
is the mistakes that were made both in 2016 and again in 2020 for 4 years
Yep.
each. There were 2 4-year terms of mostly errors. Okay, what positively occurred from 2016 through 2024? What in this country moved forward? Oh yeah, we came down in prices. We can now buy a whole hog for what, $14 now? You can't buy a pound of ground beef for $14, hardly.
You're correct.
Not real beef.
Yeah, really. Go buy steak, $20. I'm like, no.
Oh, that's cheap.
I wait for them to go on sale.
They are on sale at $20 a pound. You find a good steak at $20 a pound, you better
Yes.
take a knife and fork and start eating it before they change the price on you.
But you know, I will not pay $15 to $18 for one steak. You could go out to dinner and get a steak and a baked potato and a veggie and bread and tea for about that amount.
I can go to
The Burl.
the Burrow restaurant in Swansboro and I can get a ribeye cooked the way that I'm supposed to get
That's
it
what I'm saying.
and flavored, ready to eat. And I have to take part of it home with me.
Yes.
And that makes it 2 meals, 2 for the price of 1, right?
Yes.
Okay. So anyway, that's the way to do it. And I don't have the fuss, don't have the muss, don't have to get the grill out, don't have to do any of that stuff. And you know, he cooks with a cast iron frying pan or cast iron. He cooks these
Yes.
steaks on cast iron, which is great. I could do that too. The problem with that inside the house here, I'm going to leave that up to him and his group to clean up. Putting a steak, raw meat on cast iron, you're going to have some smoke going on, y'all. That's what you're going to
Yeah.
have. You're going to have some smoke
Oh man.
and intrusion of smoke. It's okay. Because at his place, he's got this big commercial fans that suck all those fumes out.
And they send them outside so when you're passing
I
by, you
know.
smell it.
Yeah, it's actually should be labeled as advertising.
Yes.
Kind of like going to the
Yeah.
fair.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you get through the gates of the fair, what do you run into? You run into the smell of grilled onions,
Yes. Peppers.
peppers, steak,
Corn dogs.
and then there's some cotton candy hanging around.
Oh, yeah, cotton candy, and then the always what are the cakes?
Funnel cakes.
Funnel cakes. Thank you.
I've never had one.
Yes.
Did you know that?
Really?
I've never eaten a funnel cake. I never could see the purpose in them. Didn't want to waste my time and calories.
You missed a lot. Well, all you do is get out and walk 5 miles after.
Oh
eating.
yeah, good. Thanks.
But I have a friend who had a event venue, and they had a little restaurant out there where they made funnel cakes themselves.
Yeah.
And I got one time, and it had maple icing on it, maple cream, with the regular buttercream icing. It was maple mixed into it, and then spritz of bacon all over the top of it. You talk about
Bacon on the
good.
cake.
Oh, you have to try it. Go down here to the donut place by the bridge on 17 before you get to Cheney Avenue. I don't really want to promote his name, but it's a little place right next to the
They
wine
got
shop.
bacon donuts.
No, you can get donuts, and they have the maple syrup icing on them with the sprinkles of real bacon. I'm telling you, Rayford, you have one. You better buy half
There was
a dozen.
a place over on
they're so good.
the conglomeration of stores over there on Western Boulevard. They used to specialize in those things,
Really?
and I got one. It was different, but if I want some bacon, I'm gonna go fry it up in the pan.
No, I'm gonna have to. Now I'm gonna have to
Along with
maybe
some
go
grits.
by this afternoon and buy some and bring them in tomorrow because you have what? When I worked over
I
at the
had one.
insurance
Had a
place,
couple of them.
when I worked over at the insurance place, one of the insurance agents once a week he would bring in a big box from that establishment, and he always knew to get me the maple bacon one.
Okay. All right, guys, if you want to chat today, it's your chance. We do have a couple of guests coming in here this morning. One's going to be in the studio with us. Royce Biddett, he said at 8 o'clock.
I gotta read.
He's a member of the Onslow County Board of Commissioners. He's also the chairman of the Board of Directors for Onwassa. And boy, do I have a question or two for him.
Oh, look good.
Because I've gotten a couple of these little thingamabobbers in the mail.
Yes.
Got nothing to do with Onwassa. It's not sponsored by Onwassa or anything else, but it looks real official. Something important information about sample pay. Simple pay. Important information about simple pay. Yeah, they want to take my money. And that's how simple it is.
Simple pay.
Please return this stub for your
It's private company.
records. It's a private company. But does that not look governmental to you?
Yeah, it does. Kind of, yeah.
Looks like a bill, doesn't it?
Yeah. What is that? Just like a
Oh, you
questionnaire?
can read it. Water leak line. Water line. It covers all sorts. Supposedly covers all sorts of things in case anything happens to your water line. You know, the one that the city or the county installed when they put whatever water system you're hooked up to. It's their line.
It's
They
just
connect
like
to you, right?
it's like getting a car warranty. It's like getting one of those household insurance policies. Well, they're not insurance, but one of those household policies that you pay yearly. So if like something breaks down, it's just.
I'm not going to blast all of them, but for your benefit, make sure that if you do sign on to any such of an insurance plan, because that's what it is, call it anything you want, make sure you're not paying more for that insurance plan than the possibility of having car troubles. Because if you aren't paying a chunk of change, yes, you're putting it as a down payment. That's all it is. You're just making payments in advance for something that might happen to your car. And if nothing happens to your car, lucky them. They don't have to pay you to get it repaired.
Well, I know from working in an insurance office, two of them, in fact, that when you buy your homeowner's insurance, there is a clause in there that you can also put into your insurance policy for water backup and sewage and broken pipes and stuff like that. It's a couple dollars added
That's a
to your
homeowner thing.
It's a homeowner thing. So this thing that you got in the mail, because I got the same thing, I was like, it's just a company that's trying to sell you protection.
And the one thing that I'll recommend to you is this protection. How long has this company been in business? What's its track
You know who the people are,
record?
that's
What's
right.
its track record? And what you going to do? And let's say you go for the next 5 years at paying $3.50 a month of this,
Right.
which is not a whole lot of money, but you go for 5 years and you pay all this, and you suddenly have a leak or whatever that may or may not be covered. You got to also read the fine print and whatever you get before you send $3.50 to them. And then you do this little thing and say, what happens if they're out of business when this comes time that I need them? All that money that I've invested down the drain, pardon the pun. Anyway.
Well, you're going to find out some of these companies like that. You'll say, let me go ahead and take a policy. It's not a policy, a thing out with them. So with my water pipes burst from the frozen weather, and they're going to come back and say, well, you should have covered your pipes.
Yeah, if you didn't do what you're supposed to do,
A lot
it's
of
your
conditions
fault.
in here.
Yep, not a problem. So, all right, another cold front.
It's going to get
We'll move through the area late today.
Right.
I think is already here. Strong winds may accompany the system. A gale watch is in effect from this evening through Friday morning. Today, out to 20 nautical miles, westerly winds 5 to 10 knots this morning, becoming southwesterly 20 to 25, gust to 30 this afternoon. Seas 2 to 3 feet, building to 3 to 5 in the afternoon. Near shore seas 1 foot, then 2 to 4 in the afternoon. Sounds and rivers a light chop. It's going to become rough this afternoon. Tomorrow, winds out of the north, 20 to 25 knots, gust to 30, becoming northeasterly 10 to 15 in the afternoon. Seas 4 to 6 feet, subsiding to 2 to 4 in the afternoon. Near shore, seas 2 to 4 feet, sounds and rivers rough, diminishing to a moderate chop in the afternoon. Saturday, southwesterly winds 10 to 15, gusts up to 25, seas 3 to 5, 2 to 3 near shore. Sounds and rivers a moderate chop. Count on some rain by the afternoon. It's going to be cold, too.
Rain this afternoon.
No, Saturday.
Saturday. Oh,
You
yeah.
missed 2
Okay.
days.
Yeah.
Today it'll be
Good.
sunny, high of 53, 5 to 10 mile an hour winds with 18 mile an hour gusts. Tonight, clear, cold. According to this, a low of 29. We'll see about that. Tomorrow, sunny, high of 51. Tomorrow night, cloudy, low of 31. It's going to rain almost all day Saturday with a temperature of 56. Saturday night, roughly 40 and 50% chance of rain with 42. And on Sunday, cloudy and 56.
In the backyard right now, out here in our studio, it's 13 degrees at the official weather station. It's 12 degrees at another sensor and 14 at a different one. And at the air station, aboard the New River Air Station, not very far from the water is where their sensor is. It's 17 degrees or 18 degrees. It's varying back and
It's
forth.
freezing.
Yeah, it's that too. But if it's going to be only 29 tonight, my God, a heat wave is coming.
That's a heat wave.
So it's, but don't count on that staying here. And next week, there is a distinct possibility now of some white mist coming down.
Don't call it mess. We all want to see it and then have it move on. Just shush up with the mess work.
Goodbye. I just turned her mic off. It is a mess. It can be a major mess and for traffic and everything else. And so if y'all enjoy it and you get out there and you start looking at those online things that say wreck here or wreck there, wreck this because of the snow and sleet and all that sort of good stuff. It's your fault.
Stay home.
It's going to be Kelly's fault
I'll take
because
that.
she's been counting on it.
Kelly don't drive in it, so you don't have to worry about
Well,
that.
how are you going to get to work?
I can do virtual.
Oh, goody. One of those.
Yeah.
Can we do a virtual?
Yeah, sure, if you want
I don't
to.
drive in crap weather
I
like
get
that.
to
I
use
got in
my
a wreck
four-wheel
once
drive.
as a teen.
Crap weather like that.
Yeah.
You've been in a wreck for it and you're praying for it to come again.
It was rough, and I wasn't driving, and I was a kid. So no, I don't drive in ice and snow. I don't do it.
Royce Bennett's joining us. Royce, sounds like an issue, doesn't it?
Yeah, got here a little early. I've got another meeting at 8:30, so
That's
I
all
need
right.
to go in and get in.
We can get you early. Whenever you'd like to.
I
We're
think
good to
Chris
go.
is calling right now.
Chris Miller.
Yes.
I don't see him ringing,
Yeah, give him a second. He was supposed to be calling right after.
so
Well,
he's going to think about
Oh,
calling.
okay.
It's
Yeah.
Miller time. So Chris, it's Miller time. Chris, here's your cue. It's Miller time.
maybe his finger.
Ah,
Oh,
there he
is.
is.
It's too cold for his fingers to do any
Yes,
walking this
let's
morning.
see.
Hello, Chris Miller. How are you?
Good morning, my friends. How's everybody doing on this very cold morning?
It's a very cold morning, lower teens. Yeah,
Yes, it is very. We're looking forward to the spring season. How about that?
I love 90-degree weather. I'd like to have some right now. Be fine with me.
90-degree weather is, I don't mind it being 70 all year long. And how about that? So let's maybe it's San Diego weather. How about that?
Well, let me tell you about wishing and something else into your hands, okay? And see which one fills up first. Okie dokie. Chris, sports-wise, what's cooking? The area is too cold to play basketball, all right?
Yeah, well, Well, I do have a question for you, Racer. So what is this I hear about you not liking funnel cake?
I don't have a clue whether I like them or
Chris.
not. I've never had one.
He's crazy.
How can you never have had that?
Why would I if I don't have any desire for it?
You need.
Have you ever eaten chitlins?
Yes.
Did you like it?
No.
Have you ever not eaten something have you ever eaten venison?
Yes.
And you didn't like that? Did you
Nope.
eat bear meat too?
I have that once and threw that right up.
Well, see, I'm anticipating with all that sugar, I might just throw that right
You'll
up.
love it.
No, I won't.
How about snake?
How about who?
Snake.
Snakes?
You
Have
can
ever-
stop
you ever had a
anytime now,
snake?
Chris.
No, I hope not. Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
no telling.
Well, we can spend a whole show on funnel cakes and the things that you should eat and things you shouldn't eat, and it probably makes for a great show.
I
Yeah,
agree with
probably
that.
would.
Mhm.
A lot of people will be making head calls, but that's all right.
We're just gonna put buckets right next to the desk here.
Mhm.
I ate stuff last week I never thought I'd eat.
What did you have
Really?
last week?
Oh my.
Oh, yeah, you were in
sea
Japan.
urchin,
Oh, I had that
eel,
too. I had that.
octopus,
Had that.
raw fish.
Did you like
Had
it?
that.
Mhm.
Uh,
I ate it.
It was good until you found out what it was.
The only
Is that
thing
what
I
you're
couldn't
saying?
eat was the sea urchin. The rest of it, I ate it,
Well, sea
whether I
urchin,
liked it or not. but
sea
the
urchin's got
was
just
really
inside, it's got just a little dab of some stuff, not much. And you can put that on crackers and
Isn't it
just
like
eat it.
good.
crawdads?
Maybe I needed crackers. They didn't give me any crackers.
So, yeah, but yeah, got a recipe about that sea urchin stuff one time. So we ran into a bunch of it while we were diving. We got a bushel of them. They were all over the place. Got back and tried to clean them to get that stuff out. You get about a small, you know what those little baby spoons size were way back when? For
Yeah,
your
yeah.
little infant baby.
Yeah.
These were about 1/3 that size is what you get out of each sea urchin. If it was
Chris,
a
you
big one.
started this.
So, yeah,
Well-
Chris, it's your fault.
Chris, what's going on in the world of sports in Onslow County?
Please, let's go sports.
I regret opening up that can of worms.
Oh, yeah, have you ever had worms?
Stop.
It's kind of been a slow week of local sports because all the high schools are Onslow County high schools and other county high schools are taking exams. It's exam week, so
Oh, okay.
we've not really had a lot of stuff going on this week. And I tell you what, that's another topic of discussion is why are high school students taking exams 2 weeks into January? Wouldn't it make better sense for exams to take place, the week before Christmas? But that's another topic of discussion. But that's what they're doing this week. So we've had a couple games sprinkled in here and there. But most teams will return action on Friday night, and then so high school basketball is really heating up, and we got about a month left in the regular season before the postseason starts. So it's definitely an exciting time if you're somebody like the Swansboro Boys or a team like that. So it's a pretty fun time.
Yeah, I understand Swansboro boys are doing very well.
Yeah, they've had a great season the last few years and went to the fourth round of the playoffs last year and only had 2 losses last year, and they're undefeated this year. And
Wow.
so they think they can make it all the way and play for a state championship. So we'll see how they continue to progress. And you have Southwest Onslow boys that are doing really well as well. And their only 2 losses are to Swansboro. So Swansboro's a 3A school and Southwest is a 2A school. So Southwest will have a chance to do well. They're coming off a victory over Kinston last week, which is always a big win. So and then you have like I said, Swansboro boys and Southwest boys and quite a few other schools that are doing pretty well as well.
He missed one, of course, but maybe there's a reason you didn't talk about the Cardinals.
Well, they're not doing too bad. They of course they got off to a late start in the season, because of football and because of the football season. So they had to play the first 2 games without a couple of those guys, but they continue to play hard. They're they're being competitive. They still have some work to do if they want to contend for playoff a playoff win or 2, but they need to continue to work hard. But they play hard, and I think that's all you can ask for, and we'll see how they do as well.
Okay, well, that sounds good.
I have a
I
question.
hope they do well. I know they put a lot of effort and pay a lot of attention to the football. I mean, it's a big draw. It's a big audience draw. So I know it's a moneymaker for them as well. And they just, and like you're talking about, a number of the football stars, they can't really play at the beginning of the season if the Cardinals are in playoffs. I mean, we had 4 weeks of playoffs. Come on, give me a break.
Yeah, and a lot of miles traveled.
So that put a little bit of a hurting on them. So anyway, good for them. As long as they keep it up, I'm happy.
Well, I have a question, Chris. What's your predictions for the Super Bowl? Who's going to the Super Bowl?
Who cares?
Well, that's. I'll tell you what, we still got a couple rounds before we get that far because can you believe it? February 9th, I believe, is the Super Bowl. So
Well-
I remember the days when the Super Bowl was always the last Sunday in January.
Yeah,
So,
Well,
right.
let me put it this way then. Who would you like to see? Who's your team?
Dolphins.
Well, my team's no longer playing. The Carolina Panthers. They've been done for the last couple of weeks. But if you ask my 11-year-old, she would want the Kansas City Chiefs to win another Super Bowl. Because
Yeah.
because of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce and all
gracious.
that. So
Please.
I know there's a lot of let's just say old school people that don't like when Taylor Swift gets the attention that when they're at Chiefs games on
Let's
TV.
play ball. Right.
But I think it's a great opportunity. I mean, it's really generated interest from young girls interested in football. I mean, I told you my 11-year-old asked me, "Hey, Daddy, how's the Chiefs doing? Are they still number one? Are they? They'll sit down and watch. They won't sit down and watch a 3-hour game, but she'll sit down and watch a few plays here and there. And when they played the Super Bowl last year, she followed it and everything. So that's how you generate interest.
That's good.
For some of those curmudgeons out there that I don't want to see this. Stop talking about Taylor Swift. Well, that's how you generate young audience.
Well,
Until the young audience stops watching when Taylor breaks up with Travis, and then you don't have them.
Yeah, but she'll have a hit song, so
Yeah.
Well, y'all have missed the whole point here. There's a strategy in bringing all the attention to her. It's keeping the opponent's eyes off of what the Chiefs are doing. Okay, that's the whole purpose of it.
well, she's like the Danica Patrick.
Do you think the scouts that are out there trying to figure out what's going to come down, what the Chiefs are doing, or even paying any attention to what the players are doing? No, they're paying attention to Taylor Swift.
Anyone playing the Chiefs needs to be more worried about the refs than the other team.
The refs.
Oh, Lord.
So, bottom line.
Here's
Refs on every game.
Now, to the left of me, we got the conspiracy theorist.
Now you got the Patriots fan who doesn't like the Chiefs. Yeah, that's what you have.
See what you started, Chris?
And Chris, I'm pulling for Detroit.
Okay, well, I don't have a problem with the Lions, but
Yeah.
I think they have a chance to
I heard that.
do well. I mean, they're playing Washington, and so that'll be a good game. So so if the winners of this weekend's game will advance to the conference championship the following week, and if you win the conference championship, then you advance to the Super Bowl 2 weeks later. So, like I said, we still got a couple rounds left, but you have the Buffalo Bills that are doing well, and Baltimore Ravens. So we have a lot of Ravens fans here and Washington fans here in North Carolina, because those are the two teams that people kind of were rooting for before the Panthers came in. So we'll see how the things go this weekend.
Well, that last game, the Washington played the Commanders. I'm gonna tell you what, that was like watching White Oak and Jacksonville play. I mean, the way they, one was scored, the other was scored. They tied up, one to get ahead, and then they tie up in the last few minutes. Washington just
That was a good game.
That was a great game.
Royce, who are the Commanders? I mean, what's that?
I call them the
It
Redskins.
used to be the Redskins.
I still call them the Skins, but
I like Sonny Jurgensen still.
oh my gosh. He's
So-
still alive.
Chris, in terms of spring sports, have they started? They haven't done tryouts for spring stuff yet, right? They're still on the winter stuff.
Yeah, they're still in the winter stuff. The spring sports tryout /practice will begin February 12th.
Okay.
So we still got a couple weeks before that, a few weeks before that, but February 12th, it is a Wednesday. It's a Wednesday, and then obviously it's still going to be chilly and cold outside when baseball teams and start official practice. Now, a lot of these spring sports teams have already been out there doing training and doing some sort of involuntary workout, getting in the weight room and things like that, and hitting the baseball field. But those are not mandatory. Once February 12th comes, the practices is mandatory. So if you're a player and you don't show up, then you can get yourself a team. If you skip practice, then you won't play. But February 12th, and then about 2 weeks later is when they can start playing games.
So
Now-
on February 12th, real quick, while we're there, you're talking about, it's going to be cold. And where do these teams play?
Local high schools.
Where do they play? Where do they do all their warm-up games and all that sort of good stuff? Isn't it places like Sarasota, Florida, and Tampa?
No, we're talking about high school sports.
Oh,
We're talking about local high school teams.
they don't go to Florida?
No, they don't go to Florida. They stay here at Jacksonville, White
I
Oak,
think they need to go to Florida.
Richland. Well, I agree with that,
They
but
could play there
I don't
with
think the teachers will go
professionals.
for that.
Well,
Virtual learning.
it's funny that you're interested, that you say that, Rayford, because I know they talk about spring training for the Major League Baseball team.
Yeah.
They do go to Florida and Arizona because
Yep.
it is so cold in some
Yeah.
of those places. But you look at college baseball, you just look at East Carolina Pirate baseball. They actually start their season. They're starting practice now because they actually start their season. If I'm not mistaken, they started like in early February.
Oh, my God.
That's cold.
Now, to me, I may get some trouble of why people want to go see a 17 to 13 college baseball game in January, February. Is
No.
But people follow that stuff, and their seasons start pretty early and that's why they just start early because it's a long season. So it's pretty interesting that people want to go see that 7 January and February.
Okay, guys, if you do like to do that and you want to do that, I've got 2 stadium seats that are battery powered that are heated.
Yeah.
I will rent them to you.
Chris, soccer, it's spring is girls, right? Or is it boys?
Yeah,
Okay.
spring is high school girls soccer, and then the fall high school boys.
Okay. And I know it's lacrosse for girls. I know that. I know somebody played. Okay.
In the spring, yep.
Okay.
And so, and then baseball, softball, track and field. The spring season is usually the busiest throughout the year.
Right. Okay. So I thought, okay, that's all the questions I had.
All right. And FYI, daylight savings time starts on March 9th.
I didn't even know that.
Now you do.
Wow.
Chris, thank you, sir, as
Yeah.
always.
Thanks, Chris.
Stay warm, Chris. It's cold out there.
Thank you, guys. We'll talk to you guys next week.
I assume you're
Chris.
not going to be wearing shorts when you're up and down the field this time of year. I didn't think so. Okay. Thanks, Chris. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye. Royce, what's
Hey,
the weather like in Japan?
it's cold. It's snowing. Yeah, we got some snow, and
So if it
It's
happens here, we
interesting.
can blame you for bringing it back with you.
I guess you can.
Blame you for everything else, right?
Yep, might as well. Didn't get much time to talk about it last week. Headed to Japan, but I thought folks would need to know. First of all, Anwasa was introduced to Kubota membrane systems when we bought Plurus. Because
Okay.
Plurus was using Kubota systems, and since we bought Plurus, we've invested about $3 million in Kubota systems in 2 other of our plants.
Really?
To treat wastewater. Yeah, they have a system that cleans the water better and cheaper and more efficiently and
I
in
like
a
that.
smaller space. One of the things that we found in Japan that it's kind of amazing is how they've learned to use their space more efficiently.
They don't have a lot of it.
That's right. They don't have a lot of it, so they treat a lot of wastewater in a small space. And by seeing how they are treating their wastewater and how efficiently they're able to run their processes, I think it's going to help us because Wasa is in the same way, not nearly as congested as they are, but the same property or area constraints,
Sure.
largely because of wetlands and stuff like that, more than population density. So we have to learn how to treat our wastewater in more efficient, effective ways.
A lot of folks are not understanding. Onwassa provides fresh, clean, wonderful water for drinking and whatever else you want to use it for, right? But also, there's a certain degree, certain part of Onwassa that you've got a sewer line running that runs through Onwassa to be cleaned up.
Right.
The stuff that goes in has to be cleaned. What do they do with that wastewater?
Well, and that has to be dealt with in different ways. That's one of our big challenges here, is how to get rid of the effluent from the wastewater. Now, this water is and the Pleuris plant has their wastewater running into a fish tank and have fish in it. The water is cleaner than drinking water. We've been the
Interesting.
the plant in the Pleuris plant in Pender County. They wanted to discharge their wastewater into the river, but the EPA told them it was too clean to go into the river.
Really?
Wow.
Right. So, I mean, the water is very clean, but you can't just dump it in the wetlands. You can't just dump it in the river. We have different ways. Some of it goes into ponds and evaporates.
Yeah.
Some of it gets sprayed in fields. So we have different ways of disposing of the.
You haven't thought about it, but I should have thought about it. But when it rains a whole lot, like with hurricanes, with 31 inches of rain, like we got a few years ago, that's fresh water coming down. That's clean, fresh water, basically coming down from the sky. But when it hits things like the saltwater areas, the salt marsh areas, up rivers and places where fish are born, much of our fish life is born right there.
Right.
They can't stand fresh water. That's not what it's meant to be.
Right. I think we have fish kills.
Yes, we do.
When after something like
We
that,
certainly do.
because of the freshwater infiltration. But yeah, and our relationship with Kubota is several years old now, and all of their products have 10-year warranties, and they're lasting 15 or 20 years. So it's a long-term relationship, and to be able to get to know some of the people who are working with us, the engineer types and the representatives from Kubota, I think is going to be a real big advantage for Onwassa over the next many years.
Okay, so this Kubota, I mean, I'm familiar with Kubota because I see them with tractors all over the place, right? Is this the same company? The parent
It
company?
is the same parent company.
Okay.
Kubota Membranes is a subsidiary of Kubota, and they make the parts that the filters and the systems that we use to treat the wastewater.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're kind of using their stuff, and I know that when I was involved with General Electric, especially the nuclear fuel rod division there in Wilmington, right outside of Wilmington, people from their number one company, one of their biggest customers was Japan. And they were always sending people over here to tour the plant, look at it, see what their end result that they get, how it's produced. I saw a lot of engineers from Japan over the years. I assume that's kind of what was going on with you there.
Well, it's kind of like, in the reverse. I mean, we went over there, we toured the Nakahama sewer plant. If you want to see anything about that, that is a 10 million gallon a day plant, which is a huge plant right in the middle of Osaka.
It's right downtown.
It's right downtown, yeah. And
the water looks pretty good out in that river.
The water is clean in the river. They don't have the same kind of EPA regulations that we do, so they can dump their treated wastewater right into the river.
Well, your treated wastewater should be good, right?
Yeah, it's like
we still can't do it.
We still can't do it. There are some. I mean, they do it upstream from here. If some places still dump their wastewater into the river. And we've got a kind of a affinity to that, I guess, because of the Wilson plant.
Wilson Bay
Wilson
plant area there. That was a blight.
That kind of put a bad taste in
in our
people's mouths
yeah.
about dumping wastewater into the river. So we don't send any effluent to the river or any of our rivers at this point.
Good.
But if we could send some of it,
I would want to see assurances.
It would be a real benefit to our process.
Yeah, with some of the spills that we've seen, and some of those spills that we've seen due to construction mishaps or other issues, and the untreated water has managed to get into our rivers and streams from time to time. It gets cleaned up, and sort of a natural process as well with the tides in and out and whatever happens. But we certainly don't want a lot of that happening.
Oh, right. Yeah. I mean, that's a terrible thing for our environment, for our whole company. You don't want, it's a expense. It's very costly, time consuming. So, but pipes break. There's really nothing you can do about that.
Is Onwassa associated with American Water Resources of North Carolina in any way that you know of?
No, sir.
It's a company that I got. This is the second one of these. It looks like pretty official notice. Send me some money. Sign up for this because, just in case your pipe breaks.
Well, we just had a
Are
comment.
you as suspicious as I am?
I wouldn't give these people a dime.
Let's see if I can get it from here. We just had one of our regular listeners that dealt with that company. And let me see if I can bring
This
it
one
up
right here?
because it won't show up on my feed right now.
Okay.
But whoops. All right. Let me cut that volume down.
Royce, let me ask you a question to clear up any misconceptions some people may have. You went on this trip as a representative of Onwassa, not the county commissioners,
Oh,
correct?
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was totally on Onwassa. We were invited by the Kubota. Kubota takes
It's non-tax dollars, folks. That's
right.
what we're
Right. It's
saying.
not tax dollars. Kubota takes groups from their customers over regularly. They just had they just had 20 people from Fulton County, Georgia, go
Really?
over, and they paid their way over to tour their facilities, and they do that regularly with their customers. It's not something unusual.
Well, they want to keep
Right.
their customers and show them the newest and latest and the bestest way to do things, right?
Right, and the Japanese have an interesting. I mean, they're very much about relationships, and I do believe that they truly want to make sure that they service the equipment. Like I said, there's a 10-year warranty, so we've got a 10-year relationship with them, whether we like it or not at this point. So, we might as well make the best of that relationship. And we want to have a personal, I've got some phone numbers in my pocket now that I didn't have before,
Can you
that I
read
can
them?
pick up and call.
Can you read the numbers?
Well, yeah. They have representatives in the States. So I have American phone numbers. I have some Japanese phone numbers too, but
Okay.
I don't think it would do me any good to call
Probably not.
them because I wouldn't understand anything they said anyway. But yeah, they have a representative in Tennessee that services our area,
Okay.
and then they have a representative in Seattle who's over more of the country. So, and I'm sure they have others around the country. So there are people that speak English
Yeah, right.
that we can talk to.
Well, that's
But,
good.
Okay.
It was a good trip. It was a long travel.
Did you learn a lot?
I learned a lot. Learned a lot about their system and how they work. And
Now, y'all have already been dealing with this company,
well, that's right. We've already purchased over about $3 million worth of their product for 2 of our wastewater
And you're
treatment
happy
plants.
with it?
We are, and it's something that like I said, we're going to be using in the Plurus plants and in 2 of our other plants for for many years to come. It's a good system. It's more efficient than what we were doing. It'll save us. Well, it can get pretty technical, but
Does it
it's going to
kind
save
of
us money.
does it kind of outsmart what the county's water does? Is it, in other words, on WASA, by using this technology and dealing with this company, being a kind of a partner with them or whatever on the local level? I mean, is your water better?
Our treated water is better
Mhm.
because of these membrane systems.
Right.
And remember, this is a filtering system. So the wastewater goes in, and the clean water comes out on the other side.
Can you imagine we're drinking wastewater?
No.
No,
You're not drinking
drinking it.
wastewater.
Well, I
But
know,
what are
but
the
you said it
chances
goes in, it comes. Oh, that's right. It comes out and it's.
These are totally separate plants
Then
from
it's
the
disposed-
water
it's
plants.
disposed of.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. The water you're drinking is not. But you know what? I've seen people drink it. I haven't tried it. I haven't tried it myself. But
Can they use this water, repurpose it for other things? I mean,
That
let's
was-
say firefighting. Hello, California, wake up.
in Japan, in their newer buildings and their tall high-rise buildings, they're putting a plant in the basement, and they're treating the wastewater and pumping it back to flush toilets for the firefighting systems.
Yeah, that's
For-
good.
They're saving something in the order of 30% of their water volume by recycling this wastewater.
And not having to dispose of it other ways.
Right, then they don't have to dump it in the.
Is it water that could be, without calling it bottled water, because we don't want to go there, but if it's something that could be sold, contained, and sold for agricultural purposes or for watering your lawn, I mean, I could see people wanting to have some of this water, and cheaper than having to pay for unwashed water just to water your lawn.
You know what? When our Northwest plant was built years ago, the original intent of WASA was to pipe the treated effluent out to the farmers or the homes that wanted to recycle some of that water, because that was highly treated wastewater. The problem was there wasn't a market for it. I mean,
you haven't been able to convince people to do it yet.
That's right.
Well,
That's right.
To me,
You
it
gotta
sounds like
convince
the
people to
ideal
do it.
thing to do, because the cost of water, not only do you have to pay for the water, then you got to pay for the treatment of the water, but you're not using it for anything else
The
except
biggest-
watering the land.
Yeah, the biggest issue is how to get it from
Sure.
the plant to where it needs to go, because that's expensive to put pipes in the ground and all that kind of
Might
stuff.
be.
So
I bet you California would like to have some of it right now.
yeah, I bet they would. But yeah, there's a lot of things that we need to that we're going to have to consider in the future. Find ways to be more efficient and with our water. We're blessed with Castle Hayne and the aquifers
there,
that we
yeah.
have.
However,
But yeah, they're not. Well,
They're not
eventually they're going
limitless.
to run out. Yeah, they're not without limits. So we're already being limited to what we can take out of the Cape Fear aquifer.
yeah.
Or Black Creek, the Black Creek aquifer.
Wow.
The Black Creek aquifer, the water in the Black Creek aquifer that we're getting out in the Richlands area is so clean that we don't have to treat it. I mean, it's
Really?
we don't, that water. They have to fluorinate it,
Sure.
and but we don't have to treat that water, so it's a very cheap water source.
Mm-hmm.
The Castle Hayne water is more has more salinity.
I was going to say,
And,
they're
yeah.
closer to the salt
Right.
sources.
And it has to go through a treatment process before we
Salt
can
water is
use
hard
it.
to. I mean,
So-
it's a much more difficult process. You can't just put a filter there to filter the salt out. It doesn't work that way. You're going to have to evaporate it one way or the other, right?
Right. So it's a different process.
Kind of like making liquor.
Hey, man.
But water's we have 58,000 water customers in Onslow County.
Really?
Somewhere in the neighborhood of 58,000.
And that does not include the citizens of Jacksonville or any of
That's right.
and
That's not
got a lot of-
Jacksonville at all.
Jacksonville's got a lot of the population of Onslow County.
Right.
Yeah.
Jacksonville and Scientific and the other little water systems around. But then we have about 8,500 sewer customers. So the water system is much bigger than the sewer system. But that's growing every day.
And with all the wetlands we have here and people wanting more homes here, there, and everywhere else, and lots of places you can't build. You can build, but you can't put a septic tank there.
Right.
So that gets to be a problem because it doesn't perk or it's too close to the water tables.
Yeah, if you want any kind of density, you got to have some kind of treatment for your waste. And whether that's on Wassa or a package plant, we're also exploring. Kubota makes package plants. It's like something the size of a tractor trailer.
Really?
Wow.
That you can haul in and hook up and go to work on.
That would be pretty nice for like a football stadium.
Yeah, for a smaller subdivision or an area, we're looking at all those possibilities that we could do to provide. Because again, sewer service. I mean, the pipes are such a huge cost. I mean, we're looking at just let a contract for Holly Ridge.
They're big.
To run a pipe. I think it's doing the engineering study on a pipe from Camp Davis to tie into Holly Ridge, so we can treat those 1,600 homes that are coming in Camp Davis. Yeah, and that just that pipe's going to be I don't know millions of dollars. If my question is, would it be more efficient? And we'll be looking at this. Will it be more efficient to put a little package plant there and treat it right there on the scene than to try to pipe it all the way to somewhere else?
Well, I would think that's a good possibility simply because, I mean, look at the piping, like you say, the construction. That's a big process, digging a big old hole.
It is. It is.
And then there's something they call pumps. That stuff just doesn't flow downhill all by itself.
Right.
So explain the benefit that you got by going to Japan and visiting this plant. The benefits for Onwassa.
Okay. Well, a lot of it is relational. Like I said, we're going to have a relationship with Kubota for the next 10 years at least, probably 15 or 20. But just knowing the right people to call about the issues is one thing.
Yeah.
The other was, I think that just seeing how these products are manufactured and understanding how they work better. I'm not an engineer. I'm not sure I'll ever understand. 4 of us from Onwassa went over. So we got to see the manufacturing process, how they put these things together, how efficiently they're built, and how we can service them if we need to. We also got to see their plants, how they treat the wastewater, again in a smaller, more compact setting than what we're used to, and hopefully we got some ideas about how we can maybe build some plants in a smaller footprint.
Oh, good.
Than what we're used to doing. So
well, that plant that's on the river there in the downtown area, I'm not sure which city that is, but right there, it's right there. It's like, it's not an eyesore.
It's right in the middle of Osaka, and you can't smell. It doesn't smell like.
Well, I'm sure the
sewage,
Japanese citizens, knowing who they are, they were not going to put up with it if it did. It'd be a riot. But and it looks extremely clean, that whole area. So
it is. It's
okay.
So yeah.
Do you plan on going back soon?
Well, I don't know about that. They're building a new plant in Osaka, and there is a possibility in a year or so that somebody from Onwasa may go back to see the new manufacturing
Curious
plant.
citizens jump on.
For a fee.
I'd love to go.
You can go there anytime you want to for a fee.
Yeah, I don't know that I'll go back. I would probably defer to somebody else that hasn't been there to go back. But you never know if it looks like it would be beneficial. I mean, in a couple of years, I don't know where, what
Sure.
my situation will be.
So they fed you good?
They fed me.
Yeah, I saw
I'm not real keen on the
Japanese
you see that
culture, yeah.
fish that I ate.
Yeah,
no,
Rayford
what's wrong
would
with
like
that?
that.
Oh my
I
God.
lived in Japan. They
You
used
know,
to serve me that.
yeah.
I taught at a school there. They served me that
that's-
mess every
that's
day.
the
I don't
new
like the eyes and gills.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You don't have to eat it.
I
I
did
did
eat
it.
one
I
that's still
tried-
got the bones in it.
I tried to eat everything that they gave us. I
You know-
don't think there's anything that I didn't try.
Yeah.
But the only thing that I really couldn't get down were the sea urchin and some of the tofu. Was
I don't do tofu
I'm
anyway.
big
Yeah,
on tofu.
Oh, I like tofu.
It just
It
comes
was
from
just
toes. I
slimy.
don't
I don't
see
know.
why anybody would want to eat it.
But I can understand why they're generally small and thin because
Yeah,
Because they work themselves, and they don't eat food with a lot of fat in it.
they
That's
do
right.
work.
Yeah.
They do work. They work 12-hour days. They work hard. They're very efficient people. So
Well, that's good.
It
I'm
was-
glad you had a good time. I'm glad we
Yeah.
learned
Enjoyed it.
something from it, and
Yes.
you taught us something.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So
That's good.
well, I like that idea of the little package plants here, there, and everywhere, and
well,
that would be kind of interesting.
the developers are doing that anyway. If
Yeah.
you look out Sterling Farms.
Well, we
they-
had
they
community
do
water
that.
systems, private
They've got,
community water systems all over for years.
Right. So my thought is, wouldn't it be better to have one quasi-government organization
Uh-huh.
that was maintaining and making sure these things are
Yep,
operating
overseeing
properly,
everything.
overseeing these things, than to have all these different operators
Government employees.
all over the county that
Right.
running their own plants. But we have to be able to make it more efficient for them because
Sure.
of course the developer's going to do whatever they can do legally to treat the wastewater as cheap as they can, as efficient as they can.
Now let's talk
So-
about developers for a second, because you're in the real estate world too. Now we do know that developers are in business to make money. Well, go figure. But that's when they finish a development.
Mhm.
When they have finished a development, they don't have a lot of stake in the future of that development anymore, do they?
That's true. Yeah.
So they got to turn it over to somebody. The roads, the streets, whatever, any water system, any sewer system that they might have, any central, anything that they might have, that's not going to be upon them, including public areas like a little park. That's
Mhm.
not the developer anymore. People don't quite get that. It's not
That's true.
That's not their
You know,
ballgame
and
anymore.
that's why they usually form an HOA to handle to make sure that those things get maintained, the parks and the retention
And the problem
ponds.
that I see with HOAs is very
Yeah.
simple: is that they are run by individuals who are not professionals.
There needs to be some regulation of HOAs.
Thank you very much.
Definitely,
Mhm.
that has to come from the state.
Mhm.
The state needs to implement some HOA regulations. They need to make the directors of HOAs get some kind of training and learn a little bit about financing and about what their responsibilities are. And
just
And-
about a
and that-
whim, go through and
yeah,
say, okay, we're going to vote here tonight on this and this and this and this, and so y'all don't dispute what I do you? Otherwise, you'll have to get up here and do it. I've seen those board of directors.
yeah. I just got a complaint just a couple of days ago about a house that is in a subdivision, but the the owners have let the yard just go away. I mean, it's like their house is in the middle of a jungle, and people are complaining. Why don't we make them cut their grass, cut their trees? Well, there's not an ordinance against living in the jungle. If you want to live in the jungle, there's not an HOA there, so there's nobody to regulate how tall their grass is or whether they keep their yard up. So this house is in such bad shape or such an eyesore that they're having problems selling houses in the in the
that's when
neighborhood,
it gets to be a problem.
which is a pain. But we can't tell people they live in the country and they live in the county.
I think there's an ordinance.
Isn't there an ordinance about no camp yards?
Yeah, in the city.
A lot of junk right up against the roadway. They have to kind of cover it.
Our threshold is health hazard. The only way that we can get involved in somebody's house, how they keep their house, how they maintain their yard, is if we can show that they are a hazard to public health. And that's a very high threshold. It's a high threshold. You can't say that just because you live in the middle of a jungle, you're a health hazard.
I like jungles.
Some people like to live in the jungle, but that's that's why you either live in the city or you get an HOA to make sure this stuff doesn't happen.
Or you buy yourself 40 acres and put your house in the middle of it. It's all yours.
That's right.
That's right. You
That's
can do
right.
that.
Or the neighbors can go mow that guy's yard.
I guess
they may be trespassing.
Yeah.
Well, it may be that maybe he
All right.
can't.
All right, you got to go.
I have got to go,
Royce,
but I
thank you for-
appreciate you guys letting me come in
Thank
and
you
talk
for
about this.
explaining your trip and what all it entailed and the news and the brochures. There's some pretty cool pictures.
Yeah, I like that. That's well done. And
I think it's going to help. It's going to be a benefit for Onwassa for a long time in the future, and
It's going to be a benefit for its
looking
customers.
forward
now we're
to-
going to hold on Wassa to the same quality of appearance as I see right there.
yeah.
Right along
Yeah.
the New River,
Yeah.
they're building it there.
I know
We're gonna
it's
try to do
beautiful.
that.
Okay.
Beautiful.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
Royce.
Thank you, Royce. That's that's a good deal.
Yes.
And if we could get rid of in some of these large subdivisions, if you could just put a plant there instead of having big old pipes, that you could walk through, running all across the county down to a central treatment facility.
I agree with
With
that.
all of the problems that are inherent in big old pipes that are running from this
I agree with
place to
that.
place.
Yeah.
So
I
wow.
agree also.
So that would be a kind of a smart thing to do. Have a lot of little pipes that are going to connect all the houses anyway. You're going to have that regardless of where you put it, and just run it into a smaller pipe into a treatment plant. Duh, got it done. So and the efficiency of what that looks like from the pictures and from what he's telling us, the efficiency of those operations are really good.
Yes, yes.
They've got it going on over there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
Yes,
that.
yes.
All right. Anybody want to chat this morning? Where are you?
Our buddy Chris was calling and he's going to call back. He's back.
Who is Chris?
Chris Morris.
He came back. Did he come back early?
He said he was back.
Oh, okay.
And so and tomorrow is the last day
I got to give him money today.
that you can purchase those wreaths.
That's right.
Purchase 2 and get 5. So
I've already got 30.
yes, I know I've got to go in there today and do another one. So
I need to do some more.
$204. You can buy. What was that number? 6. You can buy 6 sets of wreaths at $34. That gives you 2 wreaths, and then you get a total of 5 wreaths per set.
yeah, I don't do.
So that comes out to be 30. Duh.
Yep, it does.
Comes out to be
Yeah, you explained that, and I was like,
That's
okay,
Chris calling.
yes. That's Chris now.
And speaking of Mr. DR, how are you?
Oh, muchas gracias. Hola.
Good night. Did you have a good time?
Sí, sí.
Lord have mercy.
You were warmer there than here.
Yeah, I'll guarantee you that.
Oh, sí, sí. But regrese antes de tiempo para la campeón.
Okay, Chris, we get it.
Cross America.
Yeah, je ne parle espagnol, je parle un peu le français, très peu anglais aussi.
You know, bonjour, whatever. Let's get on with
Oh,
it.
sí. I did. It was a very exciting, rewarding experience to visit local villages, work and play with some of the local children in the mountainous areas, and I got to do things probably wouldn't have been able to do anywhere else. However, you all are correct. I came back a day early because tomorrow is the deadline, and I'm hoping to revisit all the businesses, the car dealerships,
Yes.
banks, et cetera, who didn't reply to the first visits. Because I want to say, Rayford, great math on that, on what $204 actually will produce for our local cemetery here, Bickle State Veterans Cemetery. We're up to 590 something, which is great, and I'm very proud and happy. Yes,
I just said, yeah, I like that. That's good. So far, so good.
It's so far so good.
In less than a month.
Like, honestly, yeah, way less than a month. But of course, it's your show that's been generating it, because obviously my visits to local businesses have done absolutely nothing. But on some good notes, there's folks like you, Rayford, and Lee. I know, Kelly, you said you're going to be doing yours, but I just don't understand why people aren't wanting to take advantage of this 5 for 2 when it's not, when it ends tomorrow at 11:59. But, it's fine. We're going to get to 7,000. I promised it. It's going to happen.
Yep.
Because of the show.
Now,
and because of people that care. Yes.
yeah, we folks, you did. I know that everybody in here knows what BOGO is. Buy one, get one, or you buy one, you get one half off. Buy one at the regular price, buy 2 at the regular price, you get the 3rd one free. That goes on all the time, and you will suck up those deals. You walk through the grocery lines and you see a BOGO, you're going to stock your grocery cart. This is better. This is better. You do that, you do it now, and just imagine how that field is going to look next year.
Chris, walk me through how to do it, and I'll do it right now.
It's very simple. So you go to either go directly to my link that Lee has posted, or go to Wreaths Across America, Jacksonville, North Carolina.
Yeah, that's the hard way to go.
Just it's kind of a hard way, but it'd be very
Send him an
trying
email.
to simplify it some more.
You want me to send you the link, Kelly?
Yeah.
It'd be much easier than going through the other way. I'll do that right now.
And one thing I do want to mention to the listeners, because some have said, I heard you on there, but I'm a little confused because it's only showing the 3. It will auto-populate. So when you get your thank you from me, that you'll get in an email, I mentioned to you, but it does populate to 5. It's all done behind the scenes because I don't want to go into the confusing people with the math of 2 for 3, then they match the 2, now you get 5, and it's basically Rayford knows he got 5.
I got 5 for each $34 that I gave. Now that's the way you look at it.
Yeah, and you can, if you go to the custom and you just want to put the money in, it'll calculate it. You don't have to go, custom 2 Wreaths, let it calculate. You can now go down to custom, arrow down to dollars, and you put your dollars in there. It takes care of the rest of it after your credit card. But yes, tomorrow is the deadline, and so Rayford, you did such a wonderful thing that it melted my heart. Really, it really did when you said you can trust Chris with your credit card.
Oh, absolutely.
Rayford did it. And I've had a couple of people do it for large amounts of money, and I don't even know, Rayford. I couldn't even tell you what your first number was.
I can't either.
I immediately burn it. I burn it. I don't.
And as far as Chris is concerned, first of all, I trust virtually nobody right up front. We know that. That's a me thing. But that's just my 76 years around the earth. But I know when I can trust somebody, and when I can trust them, I trust them implicitly. I don't have any problems with Chris.
Yeah.
If I can trust Chris, Nobody should have a problem with Chris. And besides, I know where he lives.
That's right. We're gonna beat you up.
But yeah. So, but I do want to once again thank you, everybody that's done it. This was coming back because hopefully when I pick up our mail that was held, a trick that Lee taught me, that maybe there's some checks in there. I checked it every day while over in the Dominican Republic, and wonderful people there, by the way. I know Rose was talking about the people in Japan. The people in Dominican Republic are just wonderful, wonderful people. Yeah. And even in the villages, one sad story, a gentleman from America had a stroke on the bus that we were on, but he was taken to a local hospital, sent home, probably going to need a pacemaker, but
oh boy.
It was a wonderful trip, but I maintained watching you folks, but a little cost. It did cost some money. I went, okay, call the show or donate a wreath.
Yeah, donate a wreath.
So, but one of the last things I want to say before I let you go, and thank you again first for allowing me to come on and talk about it, is shortly I will have more business cards printed with QR codes on there.
Oh, okay. That's perfect.
If I knew how to use them, it'd be great.
You have to have an app.
Yeah.
You have to
we'll
have
do
an
the
app.
app too.
Robbie would do it.
Read between the lines.
Thank you. But yeah, so and the only other thing I ask people, spread the word. And this show is the epitome of it. I believe I saw 44,000.
And just think,
amazing.
Chris, that was the sheriff's office. I wish we
had
44,000. I shared their post.
Well, we did get one occasion, we got 79,000 on one post that I made.
Yeah, that's on the post. He's talking about followers.
Yeah. Well, we got a lot of people that come back later and work.
It grows every day. Yeah. We have grown so much on social media, and thank you for that, Chris. So anybody listening, please hit our page, like, and follow.
And Chris, I've got an issue.
Yes, sir.
You know that I see the sheriff on a regular basis around here. And sometimes I'm having to ask him for favors for the Ham Radio Club, and I was there yesterday to drop off a letter, and I saw him last week, and then, he comes on the show here, and he calls me regularly, and I think he's got somebody following me, and the reason is because every time I see him, when are you going to get on a radio station? Now you see where I'm going.
Oh yeah. Rayford needs to talk to you about that. You can just call me.
No, seriously. This is being pursued very heavily now that I'm back this morning.
Yep.
Because I think, and our radio station is listening to you, the show belongs on a radio station.
It does.
It'll be the benefit of the radio station. It'll benefit their listeners, and it'll benefit Onslow County, and that's what we're all there for.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
And we're not here all about hate and discontent. We're going to cover what's going on out there. We're going to expand our coverage just a little bit as well, Chris. I told the young ladies here, due to a lack of what I consider to be local news coverage, since we've unfortunately had a degradation in the Jacksonville Daily News, and I won't go anywhere else, but we're having a lot of people tune into us looking for news. Yes. I have sworn since 2011, 1 November 2011, we're not on here to do news. We're changing. We're going to change that. We're going to add an element of local news. Okay?
I think it's great because sadly,
it's sadly
a very dear couple of mine, Paula and Tony Gribble.
Oh yeah,
were murdered in Greenville. And people don't know this. Paula was the head of nursing education at Coastal Carolina Community College.
Right. We discussed that. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. And then Tony.
It's okay. Please.
People may not know this. Tony opened the first Nautilus way back when, which is now Courts Plus, I think. And they're just wonderful people. TD, their son. I'm proud of him for holding the gun on the
Right.
alleged murder.
They held him at bay until the police arrived, till the deputies got there.
Yeah.
So, good for him.
Folks, this group of people in the studio right now, they have their finger on the pulse of a lot of things going on with their connections. They get the news. So if you want the news, you want it correct, you want the information correct, listen to them. When the weather forecast happens, yes, I did mention, I think, Rayford, you remember I said big snow in January.
I have you written down.
I think that both of us had that the last part of January or early February, we're going to have some accumulation here.
I have you and me listed. Chris is predicting that, and Rayford had originally said December, and then he added also January and February. So we're all right in there.
We had the flurries in December, like I said.
That was a flurry. That does not count.
Chris, I got a question. I just bought 5 wreaths. So how many am I totally getting? Because it's how many?
Okay, so
how much money did you give them?
I paid $85.
I'll do the math for you in a minute.
Yeah,
85 for 5 wreaths.
So 2 times 2.
So it's 20, right?
80. Yes.
Okay, so I just got 20 wreaths. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You're an angel. We appreciate all of y'all are angels walking this earth, and I thank you for that.
Okay.
Thank you so much,
Chris. Thank you. When we're going to see you?
Call me.
I will.
Rayford, probably you are going to need to see me sooner than anyone else for.
Yeah, he was talking about that
I'm
also
going to see
this
you all the
morning.
time, but not for that. But if you and I need to go pay a visit, I'm going to conduct business over the air right now. If we need to take a visit and go pay a visit first together, that'd be fine. Just let me know as soon as we can go have a chat.
Yeah, Kelly, I'll see you somewhere with about buddies and Lee.
It's tomorrow night.
Run into each other everywhere. Tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night.
Okay.
What's tomorrow night?
Oh, Able Buddies,
yeah.
Special Needs Dance
Able
tomorrow night.
Able
Yep,
Buddies.
6 o'clock.
Able buddies. Okay.
Yep, and it's our theme is pajama party.
All right.
Oh,
Lord.
that's pretty
The
cool.
kids, they get to wear little pajamas.
All right.
Chris, one more thing. One more thing, Chris. On this date in a few years ago, there was a special occasion. Now you may wish one person in this studio happy birthday.
It's Lee's birthday, Chris.
It's Lee's birthday.
I've been trying to keep it quiet, Chris.
Oh, really?
I'm not going to help you with that.
Lee,
Yes.
if I may, happy birthday
Oh my
to
gosh.
you. Happy birthday to you.
Sound like Elvis.
Happy birthday, dear Lee. Happy birthday to you.
Well, thank you
well
very
done.
much.
Great,
Appreciate
great
it.
voice. And now we're going to be banned in Russia again.
Y'all have a blessed day.
Chris, welcome back to the country. Stay here for a while.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
I will. Take care.
All right, you
Bye.
too. Well, I'm glad he had a good time.
I am too. Everybody deserves
Glad
to
he's
get
back
away.
safe and sound.
Yes, definitely. Glad he got back.
Every time I have people that I know of going somewhere out of the country, I always look and I pay a lot of special attention to things that are happening at that time. He did. He slid back in a day earlier than I thought he was going to be, or I would have known more about it. But anyway, cold front, we got it. It's coming across the area late today. Strong. If you think we had a cold front yet, I think the one that's supposed to be coming across the area late today is slipped in the middle of the night last night. Strong winds may accompany the system later today. A gale watch in effect from this evening through Friday morning shore. Today, westerly winds 5 to 10 knots, becoming southwesterly 20 to 25, gusts up to 30 this afternoon. Seas 2 to 3 feet. They're going to get to be 3 to 5 this afternoon near shore. 1 footers, then 2 to 4 in the afternoon. Sounds and rivers a light chop, becoming rough in the afternoon. Tomorrow, northerly winds 20 to 25, gusts to 30. Northeasterly 10 to 15 in the afternoon. Seas 4 to 6 feet, subsiding to 2 to 4 in the afternoon near shore. 2 to 4 footer. Sounds and rivers rough, diminishing to a moderate chop in the afternoon. And on Saturday, southwesterly winds 10 to 15 knots with gusts to 25. Seas 3 to 5, 2 to 3 near shore. Sounds and rivers a moderate chop. Count on some rain by the afternoon.
Today it'll be sunny, high of 53, winds 5 to 10 miles an hour with 18-mile-an-hour gusts. Tonight clear, cold, low of 29. Tomorrow sunny, high of 51. Tomorrow night increasing clouds, low of 31. And on Saturday it's going to rain all day. It'll be 56. It'll be chilly.
Yeah.
It's that
It's 17 out there now.
Cold.
Yeah, it's up to 17.
Oh, Yay, y'all,
heat
it's 17
wave.
now. Yay.
Bikini time.
Well, did you see the ice on the windshield this morning, Kelly? It looked like your windshield was shattered
Mhm.
when I went out. And I
Oh,
looked at mine and I was like, wow, I thought somebody had hit it.
Do
with
not do like a coworker friend of
No,
mine.
they didn't.
Oh, he did years and years ago, and he knew better.
Oh,
He was driving
I
a
know what
company
you're saying.
car, and he said he put some water on the
Yeah,
windshield because
worst
it was
thing to
covered
do.
over. But I said,
You'll
you
bust
put
your
hot
window.
water on there, didn't you? No. Yes, you did. Well, his wife said, yes, he did.
That'll bust your window out.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
it will.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Every morning,
Do not
Don't
do
do
it.
it, folks.
I keep my spray bottle in the truck. I reach in there and get it. I spray the windshield. Boom, it's gone.
Yep.
The de-icer
Yeah,
liquid.
get yourself some de-icer if
Yeah,
you
it
got
works
particularly if
wonderful.
you got your car parked outside, and if you're going to be, here's some things that some people don't think. You drive to work,
Right.
it's you de-ice your windshield in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
By the time you get off work at 5 o'clock, maybe 6 o'clock, could be 7 o'clock, your windshield might be iced over again
Mm-hmm.
if you're parking outside and whatever. So you might want to get a can of that, keep it under the
I
seat.
want to tell you what, I get a gallon of it and then I have a regular spray bottle and I pour it in there and I just keep it in the truck.
And
during
if
the
you-
winter
and if you-
months.
And if you run into a bind and you know where Lee lives, you can run by her house, and for $5, she'll fill up your bottle.
Oh, absolutely.
Lee, I have a question real quick before I
Yes,
leave.
yes.
Because you'll know the answer to this. This
Maybe.
is your thing.
She
So
didn't ask me.
I know, yes, because I
Maybe.
know you didn't watch it. The confirmation hearings yesterday.
Yes.
I saw Pam Bondi's because I
Oh.
never knew who she was till yesterday.
That
She's now my hero, so I like her.
I'm right
Oh, yeah.
there with
Um,
you.
She's awesome.
I'm like, we need to take her to lunch.
I like her a lot.
Mhm.
But I noticed there were other hearings like Rubio and two dudes. I don't know who they even were.
Yes.
Okay. They had their hearings, correct? Did they not ask them like salacious questions or
Yes.
I saw part of Rubio's,
Uh-huh.
but I got so attached to Bondi's.
oh, she was awesome.
And
Yeah.
what
Wait,
happens
is
is
it not the same group?
no, they're different
Oh.
groups. So there are several confirmation hearings
Going on at one
at the
time.
same time.
Oh, I did not know that.
yeah.
Oh, I thought
And-
they were all within this one
No, they
group.
can't get them all done.
And I did make
Oh,
contact with
okay.
Congressman Murphy yesterday.
Mhm.
And I said, after the hearings, what happens next? It goes to the Senate. So it is the Senate
Yes.
Mhm.
that votes on whether to accept the nominations and put them into place. And I just wanted to verify that because even though that's what we understood, I thought it went to maybe it might go to the House also, but it all goes through the Senate. The Senate takes care of everything. So after all these, then they'll eventually vote. I guess they're going to vote on everybody in one day. I don't know.
So they didn't treat like Rubio, for example, because he's been kind of outspoken about things in the past, just generally. They
From
didn't
what,
treat him the
He's-
way
he's a
they did
shoo-in.
her. And
yeah,
He's-
from what I
he's
saw,
done. There's nothing they can do, but
okay,
he's
from
gonna
what
get
I
it.
saw in Rubio, it wasn't anything like what they want. The Democrats, I mean, what is the purpose of doing what they're doing, some of them, to the nominees? Is it because they're a Trump nominee, or do they truly not like
They're outsiders.
why
I think it's
do
that.
they have to treat them the way they did? And the way they went after Pam Bondi, Lord, she
she
shut
shut them
Adam
down.
Schiff
Oh,
down.
so she was from Florida. She was the one
Yes.
that gave the
Yeah,
left
she
leaning
was-
idiots a run for their money.
She was also Trump's personal attorney, one of
Yes.
his
Yeah,
personal
and-
attorneys
But
too.
she made the worst part, what I find hilarious, but two things. One, it seems like they pick certain ones to go in front of this crew that's in there,
Yes, they have different-
Hirono
yes,
lady or whatever her
right.
name
Oh,
is, and
jeez.
Adam Schiff, that lady is.
Those two need to
But-
go.
What I find interesting, and I made this comment to somebody last night when I was watching a little bit of this, Pam Bondi especially, Pete Hegseth not so much.
Right.
Okay, but she single-handedly made them look stupid.
She
I mean,
started off
seriously.
pretty reserved.
Uh-huh.
But the lawyer, the prosecutor,
Came
the
out or
defense
something,
attorney,
or it's
the
like
attorney
a
general
switch flip.
came
And-
out in her towards the end, and she flat out told Adam Schiff, because he kept going after her and after her and after her. Well, what are you going to do if Trump wants to pardon all the
But y'all know
January
what
6th? She said, I'm going to follow the law. And she says, right now, that's not even
Let me
something.
give you some stuff exactly what she said.
Yes.
There's one guy, he's a Rhode Island, he's a senator from Rhode Island,
Yes.
Sheldon Whitehouse.
Mm-hmm.
He posed a question that was really more of a statement with a question mark at the end.
Right.
Now, listen here, little lady. He didn't say
Oh, that's offensive.
He didn't
right
say
there.
that, but that's
Okay.
kind of what he was hinting at.
Uh-huh.
It would not be appropriate for a prosecutor to start with a name and look for a crime. It's a prosecutor's job
Yes.
to start with a crime and look for a name, right?
Right. And she said,
Senator, now looky here. She didn't put it like that, but that's what she said. I think that this is the whole problem with the weaponization we have seen the last 4 years. And what's been happening to Donald Trump during that time? They targeted Donald Trump. They went after him, actually starting back in 2016. Okay, now where
I remember hearing her say
have
that.
I heard that before?
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
me.
yes,
For
yes.
oh yeah, okay. That's what I've been saying the whole time, right? The bad part of this is that they, the left, used the Department of Injustice to do their bidding, all in an effort to make sure Trump could not win re-election bid, expecting that Trump would take his lumps after the failed election effort in 2020 and just fade into oblivion. Nope. That's not what happened. He came on full force, and the Democrats enlisted more assistance from the DOJ to do everything possible to discredit that man, hoping that he would withdraw from the race at first. Didn't work out too well. So they ramped up the efforts looking for a crime to fit the man. They had a man. Now just let me go give me that book of laws here. Let me thumb through it. Let's see if I can find something. Democrat Harvard law professor emeritus, Alan Dershowitz.
Okay.
A man,
I know he
a
is.
man that a lot of us have.
He's opinionated.
We hated him.
Uh-huh.
We loved him.
Yeah.
Still do.
Yeah.
He predicted all of this is what the DOJ would do way back when. He was right. For the holier than thou, Senator Whitehouse, Bud, you've met your match. You have met Pam Bondi, and she is here to stay. You may as well take a seat in the back of the room, sir. And suddenly, I really like this little blonde.
I am all about her. I never
liked
seen her
it
till
when
yesterday.
Adam Schiff was going after her, and she finally just said, you know what? You were censored by Congress for talking to people the same way you're talking to me right now. I was like, I mean, she's like, I've had enough.
I think that there are some Democrats that like her and they're going to vote for her. I read that. They're like, because we already know there's that division. And then real quick before I leave, I want to pose a question to Democrats especially, but even some Republicans as well. You know, you keep hearing, and I'm using the women of the View pop into my head, so I'm using them, but it's not coming just from them, okay?
Right.
But they said it the other day. I saw it on a clip. That's what triggered it. They keep talking about a convicted felon is going to be in the White House. A convicted, they keep harping on that.
Yeah.
So my question becomes for Democrats and Republicans for that matter, okay? Are you going, he got elected. So are you now going to, because you know how, especially Democrats are always talking about second chances and, working for convicted people. Are you going to show another convicted felon, sympathy who might be trying to run for office when you haven't shown it to Donald Trump? I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't say, it's evil for one person and then come back to another and say, oh, it's okay if they are doing it. Yeah. So that's what I wanted to know. Are they going to, let's say some guy, I don't know, that actually served time, got out, did his thing, turned his life around, whatever you want to call it, but he's still convicted, is convicted. Will a Democrat, so let's say they start pushing him, run, what is the difference? I guess is my question.
Yeah. You never know.
So I'm curious to see what they're going to do.
How many of the criminals that have come across the border are they encouraging to vote
Oh, every single one.
and
That they
to
can get their
perhaps
hands
run
on.
for office
Yeah.
in the future? Oh, yeah.
But
It's
I mean,
happening.
there's that whole, there should be, I thought you had to be a citizen.
I'm not for president. I'm talking for
Just in
local
general.
offices. and
Don't you have to
state-
be a citizen?
No. You can run for office if you were not born in this country.
I didn't say born in this country. I said, because there's people not born in this country that are citizens.
Yes.
Don't you have to be a citizen to run?
I don't know. It depends upon what the state constitution is. I don't know what all the state constitutions are. You'd have to look it up
Yeah.
and find out.
Well, I think
I'll
that
look that up,
you should be
too.
a citizen, just like, for example, Chicago. No, I will go with Massachusetts because I do not like their governor. She made a statement, which Chicago did the same thing. But funny how he's been awfully quiet since his people have been called for his dismissal. But anyway, they used the phrase, and they were talking about illegals and people are there in their sanctuary cities and whatever. So that's, to put it into context, that's who they were talking about. They're saying we will protect all our citizens, blah blah blah. But someone who is here in this country is not a citizen. So their language they're using isn't accurate. They're using it to suit their agenda, but it is not adequate.
Correct.
And it's not
Accurate.
right. And to them, I would also say, until you clean up your homeless problem in all these big cities, then you talk to me about wanting to give some of our money to these illegals staying there. But these illegals are getting more benefits than citizens
Of
are
course
getting.
they are.
And that is wrong.
They're getting Social Security benefits. How much do you
But
think
yet,
they
look at-
paid into Social Security?
They haven't paid anything in Social
Right.
Security
Why is Social Security going broke? Because
because
of
we're giving
them.
it to people that don't deserve it. Absolutely.
Who never
I
paid
have a
into
huge
it.
problem with that.
I have a huge problem with it too. You will later on, few years.
Yeah.
Might not be there for you.
I
Well, I'm going to ask you a question on your way out the door. Representative Mike Johnson.
Yeah, you late.
We know he's the speaker.
know.
May have rankled the outgoing commander in chief with an
Well,
order that counteracts President Biden's order on flying the U.S. flag next week. Biden had all flags to remain at half staff for 30 days to honor President Jimmy Carter, who passed
Right.
away a couple of weeks ago. However, Speaker Johnson countermanded that order and ordered the flags at the Capitol and at the Capitol alone to fly at full staff on Monday for the presidential inauguration.
and then put back down.
And then, well,
Afterwards, yes.
the following day
Lowered.
they would be back
Can,
because the inauguration is an event.
Mhm.
It's a national event.
correct.
It's part of our process.
Can you override a mandate? I'm asking.
I'm going to guess that he did because it's
Can
been
it be
ordered.
done? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
That's ought to be
What
fun.
a hot mess that is.
well, it's not usual. I don't know if this ever happened in history before for all these dates to fall together like that. I mean, but
Got Martin Luther King Day,
You know-
inauguration, and whew,
I've thought about it. I mean, I think if Jimmy Carter had a say in it right now, he'd say, "You go ahead and put that flag up."
Of
I
That's
think
course.
he
okay
would
with me.
too. I do think he would do that.
And,
Yeah.
and
The
that's
type
what
of man he
because
was.
I have different views on it. Like it is protocol 30 days, but then again, the inauguration happens to be during that 30 days. But then I think, what would Jimmy say? And
I think
I
he
think
would
Jimmy would
fly the
say, "You
flag.
put that flag up. It's
I
okay
do
with
think
me."
he would. Yeah.
And look, with the farewell that he got, oh my gosh, what beautiful services,
Sure.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I think everyone did well honoring Jimmy Carter.
So,
I think Jimmy
Got
would
it.
be okay.
goodbye.
Yeah.
All right. Apparently, I have more security at my home
What now?
than an
What
Army
happened?
Reserve unit in California has at its warehouse.
Uh-oh.
You heard about this one? On the
Yes.
evening of the 8th,
Yes.
one or more, it would probably have to be more, folks broke into the Reserve Center in the town of Tustin, California, when discovered 3 Humvees, medical supplies, 8 machine gun vehicle mounts, 7 machine gun tripods, 18 bayonets, and 40 pairs of binoculars were nowhere to be found. Unless a Navy Reserve unit was playing a trick on the Army, Houston we have a problem.
Mm.
2 of the Humvees were found abandoned. The armored one is still strange. Now, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a realist. Who would want those weapons of war? What are they going to do with them? Paint them pink? Perhaps some of those specially trained terrorists who managed to sneak into our country should be rounded up and questioned before it's too late. Imagine a Humvee loaded with enough explosives to rip it apart, drives into a shopping mall and stops.
Mm-hmm.
Someone needs to get to the bottom of this one before it results in another large-scale massacre. What do the terrorists, one of their methods of operations, car bombs. Imagine taking it to the next level, a Humvee, an armored Humvee that bullets can't stop as it's approaching a mall.
Right.
Driving through the front entrance.
Rafer, don't be giving out ideas.
I cannot give terrorist ideas. They've got them. They got books on them.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, you can go to the internet.
Let me tell you a story. You ready for this? An actor. He plays a firefighter on the network series Chicago Fire.
Which one? I love Chicago Fire. I love Chicago Night.
Is preparing with his family to evacuate their California home if the wildfires were to get much closer. He heard a commotion outside, went to investigate and saw a couple of his neighbors cornering a man who was holding a blowtorch.
Oh, yes.
The neighbors were ordering the man to drop the torch. He did not comply. Police recalled, but the man did not want to hang around. So the neighbors retreated to their garages and got some zip ties and rope. That's a good start. Not sure why they didn't get a hammer, but it's okay. They grabbed the man, secured him with the rope and zip ties, and called the police after placing him under citizen's arrest. Citizen's arrest. And they did. 33-year-old Juan Manuel Sierra Leyva was in this country illegally.
Oh, there you go. Here we go.
The feds said he entered this country several years ago. Get this. Over the past few years, knowing he was illegal, he's been arrested by police several times. In October 2023, he was convicted of assault with a deadly weapon. He was placed on probation. He's been since arrested for felony probation. Now, wait a minute. He's in the country illegally. Police have arrested him numerous times. He's on probation, and he's still breathing our air illegally? I can speculate with the best of you, but I don't have any answers to any of the questions circling my brain right now. Can't figure this one out. Even for California. If you think you can help me understand why we have not kicked his sucker out of the country with such force that he would be afraid to even be within 5 miles of our border, please let me know. Juan is but one of the 100 people who's been arrested in connection with the fires plaguing California. No word on how many others, if any, are illegally in this country. He's in here. He's got a blowtorch. He's trying to set fire to a bush and some other stuff at a house, another house, and he gets caught by his neighbors, by the neighbors.
I remember that. That happened, last week, I think it was? Yes. Yeah, going around with the blowtorch.
I don't get it. I really don't understand it. 51-year-old Michael Harper is back in jail. Who in the Sam Hill is he? The man was arrested after he was paroled for murder.
What? After he was it's another one of those stories. You're going to get my blood pressure up.
Police say he violated the terms of his parole, but no details were given about what the violation was. He was convicted in 2008 of second-degree murder.
Well,
okay, you're eligible for parole at some point in time. Whatever he did got the attention of Warsaw Police and the U.S. Marshal Service, though. He was taken into custody in Duplin County Tuesday. He offered no resistance. Pretty good thing. He's in the county jail awaiting a hearing to determine his future.
He should have been there to begin with.
Former Oslo County Manager Sharon Griffin is now the interim Carteret County Manager. A popular and well-qualified manager, that's a personal opinion, She resigned her position during a behind-the-scenes squabble with now ex-county commissioner Walter Scott. Scott was censured as a result of the conflict by his fellow commissioners.
Wow.
Griffin has been serving as the county's attorney, and she'll continue those duties while working as the county's manager. Oslo's loss is Carteret's gain. Good for you, Carteret County.
She's a good woman.
She is. Great manager. Great manager. Had her mess together. Lawyer. Give me a break. There was another big story here in North Carolina.
Oh, is it the one about the police lieutenant who helped his son traffic jobs in North Carolina?
Traffic drugs.
Yeah, traffic drugs.
I saw that one.
Oh, yeah, that was interesting. And he's going to prison, and so is his son.
Yep.
He said Charles Page, who served in law enforcement for 13 years, was caught sharing confidential information with his son, Trayvon, about drug trafficking investigations involving him, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of North Carolina. He resigned from the Ayden Police Department after he was found to have 167 grams of pure methamphetamine, 72 grams of cocaine, 15 grams of cocaine-based crack, 3 shotguns inside his house during the execution of a search warrant. Well,
now he was just there to help his son out, right? Now, and people are saying, well, Joe Biden, he did the same thing. He just all pardoned his son. Now, wouldn't you have done the same thing? Would you not help your son out if you were a cop and trying to give him inside information about what the police were doing and their investigation with him? Wouldn't you do that?
He was a 13-year veteran of the force and used his official position to access confidential databases and share intelligence to advance his son's drug trafficking. Well, guess what? They both going to jail.
Cellmates. Maybe get to spend some quality time together.
Maybe they'll get to bond father, son.
There you go.
I doubt they'll go to the same place.
Had a fire this week here in Jacksonville, claimed the life of a Sneads Ferry man.
Yes.
Happened on Arlington Court.
And that's not far from me.
I know.
Well, there's an Arlington over here where Kelly lives in that neighborhood, and then there's the Arlington apartments off of Western.
Well, the guy's from Sneads Ferry.
Yes.
Jacksonville PD and Jacksonville Fire Department responded to the fire about 11:15 Tuesday night. Upon arrival, the fire department entered the residence and located Torrance Michael Thomas. He's 28. Life-saving measures were attempted, and Thomas was transported to a hospital where he was pronounced deceased. Officials say that at this time there are no concerns for public safety. This continues to be an active and ongoing investigation. And if y'all got any information about this, it's a Sneads Ferry man was in a house in Jacksonville that caught fire, or fire engulfed it.
Yes.
If you got any information, you can call Detective Rossiter at the Jacksonville PD at 910-938-1472. You can get his email, Drossiter, Drossiter. Again, that's Drossiter at jacksonvillenc.gov. You can also always call Crime Stoppers. Any crime you see or anything that you're overly suspicious of, things that are happening that are just not quite right, call Crime Stoppers at 910-938-3273. I'll give you the number again in a second. This is one you might want to write down and put it in your speed dial. You just never know when you're going to be in the mall or at a shopping center or out to eat or whatever, and you watch some guy breaking into a car, and you got a tag number. Obviously, I'd call 911 first. But if you got information that you learn about later, you can call Crime Stoppers, 910-938-3273. Crime Stoppers offers cash rewards up to $5,000 for information that's determined to be of value to law enforcement. Calls to Crime Stoppers are not required to reveal their identities. You don't have to tell them who you are. Information can also be anonymously texted via text a tip by typing tip, T-I-P, the number 4, CS, Charlie Sierra, Jax, J-A-X, and your message to 274-637.
Very good.
This case number is 25-00340, 25-00340. You can use that if you want to. This is a strange case. I don't know what the backstory is on this one. He's from Sneads Ferry at 11:15 at night. They find him dying in a house that's on fire on Arlington Court. Somebody's got some information out there.
That's terrible.
Why don't you reach out to the police and help them out, and let's see what comes out from this one.
You remember yesterday when I brought up the fact that Tom Tillis would probably have opponents running against him? Well, just yesterday, Andy Nielsen, a businessman who's active in Republican politics, has filed paperwork with the Federal Elections Commission to declaring his intention to run for the seat. Not much being put out for him. I tried to go on his website and check him out. I mean, I know who he is, but I don't know about him. I just like, I think he's got a road ahead of him.
Well, I won't tell you what my intention is right now for the election in 2026.
Yes.
Not to run for anything.
Yeah. Nielsen, he led furniture companies for many years, and he thinks that North Carolina deserves a senator who is more responsive to our concerns. He's a Cincinnati native. Moved to North Carolina when he was a child, graduated from Winston-Salem's Reynolds High School in 85 and Davidson College in 80. Now, in 89, he works in a special education at Reynolds High Schools where he's a teacher assistant and assistant football coach. Yeah. I know he's active in politics, but I do not believe he's ever held an elected position, but good luck to you.
Yep. 1919, this date.
Oh, I don't remember that day.
You ain't gonna get no more legal liquor or beer. You can't consume it.
The prohibition?
Prohibition went into effect, ratified by the states. The 18th Amendment, prohibiting the manufacture, sale, or transportation of intoxicating liquors for beverage purposes, ratified by the requisite number of states on January 16th, 1919. The movement for the prohibition of alcohol began in the early 19th century. 1800s, early 1800s. That's when the movement began to prohibit drinking alcoholic beverages. Americans were concerned about the adverse effects of drinking. They formed what they call temperance societies. By the late 19th century, the end of the 1800s, these groups had become a powerful political force, campaigning on the state level and calling for total national abstinence. In December of 1917, the 18th Amendment, also known as the Prohibition Amendment, was passed by Congress and sent to the states for ratification, and it was. 9 months after Prohibition's ratification, Congress passed the Volstead Act, or National Prohibition Act, over President Woodrow Wilson's veto.
Interesting.
The Volstead Act provided for the enforcement of prohibition, including the creation of a special unit of the Treasury Department. 1 year and a day after its ratification, prohibition went into effect. That was January 17th, 1920, and the nation became officially dry. Unofficially, it generated a whole lot of business for a whole lot of moonshiners, bootleggers.
Yeah, sure.
From inside the United States and down in Mexico, they were transporting large quantities of homemade stuff and was selling it at places called speakeasies, among other things. They had below ground, quite often in basements, places you could not even get into, speakeasies. But shh, don't say anything. But what would you like to drink? And they were serving it then.
Wow.
Prohibition agents, they call them. They got into all sorts of disguises. The beards. Sometimes they looked like women. They were dressed like women. They were men, and they were going inside these speakeasies. And Al Capone was one of the big guys who made a lot of money off of prohibition. $100 million each year, thanks to the overwhelming business opportunity of illegal booze. That was what was happening then. So, then he got repealed.
Yeah. That was history.
Yeah.
Hey, guess what? Did you hear about two future Gerald R. Ford class aircraft carriers are going to be named after George W. Bush
Oh, okay.
and Bill Clinton.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I wonder if they will ever clash. Maybe one will run into the other. Wonder.
Yeah, this is something Biden did.
Wonder if Hillary's going to be on board.
So, well,
maybe she could be that thing that leans off the bow. You know, the sprint up there.
What I like about what Biden did
I
here
hope not,
was
because those were nude women.
What?
They were hanging off the bows, the bowsprits.
Okay.
Can
Anyway,
you see Hillary there?
Biden was the one that chose. That would be well in the water.
Oh my goodness gracious! Seasick, here we come.
Oh my gosh! Why'd you just ruin that whole
that
story?
would be at the dock. Okay, sorry about that, y'all. No, I'm not.
Well, getting back to we started to talk about it, but then we didn't get too far with Biden's farewell address yesterday. Do you feel like there was kind of some slams thrown in there?
It was, but you know, what do you expect? The guy is disjointed. He doesn't like anybody. I don't blame him. He's bitter with the Democrats. Oh, and Jill went off on Nancy Pelosi. Joe Biden took her down yesterday in some comments.
I missed that.
Oh, she has been quoted in a bunch of different locations.
Do tell.
And she's talking all about aiming at Pelosi, but others, because Pelosi and Biden were kind of like running side by side for about the same amount of time in the political lifestyle.
Right.
They were friends. And then she put a nail in his head. Didn't wait for him to die. She just put a nail in his head to send him on his way. So Jill is bitter. She's bitter. Biden's bitter. And he's telling everybody they forced him out. Of course they forced you out, dude. You shouldn't have been running.
Yeah, I agree
cannot
with that.
blame any one of them for that. Pelosi, if you are responsible for this, that's the smartest thing you've done in your entire 50 years in office.
I would expect if Biden was a Republican president and things like that occurred, I would expect the Republicans to say,
They should have.
man, you know, your time's up. Thank you for your service. Your time's up, and go on with
Listen,
it.
you're going to be obliterated. Your likability factor is already in the toilet.
Right. Well, he said last night that he wants to see an amendment to the U.S. Constitution to make clear that no president is immune from crimes that he or she commits while in office. So it was a slam at
Well, how about
Trump.
you, Mr. President?
But yeah, I thought about that. I said, but you just pardoned a fella.
How
Someone that has
about you,
committed a
Mr.
felony.
President? How involved were you that you lied about and said you were not making any money? You had nothing to do with the Chinese partners of your son. How about
That's
what
what
did
I'm
you
saying,
do?
a
How
fella.
involved were you? Was that not involvement with an enemy?
he said-
Giving aid and comfort to the enemy?
He said there should be higher taxes on billionaires, stricter rules
Why?
on campaign contributions, and 18-year term limits for Supreme Court justices, and a ban on stock trading for members of the Congress. Hello, was that aimed at Nancy Pelosi, the
Yes.
stock trading?
Yeah, because he doesn't like her anymore.
And the whole thing about the Democrats ran on for this election was that they accused Donald Trump that he was going to lower the taxes for billionaires. I don't ever recall hearing him say that.
Well, lowering taxes for billionaires or raising taxes on billionaires. First of all, let's a billionaire. A guy's got $1 billion. He's got an income. He's got taxable income of $1 billion. All right.
Right.
I've got taxable income of $1.50 per year. Seriously, Social Security, I get taxed on it.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
I pay
you
taxes.
don't get a lot. I get taxed on Social Security that I collect.
Right.
They take it out automatically.
Well, mine didn't take out. They said that I'd have to go in there, and I went in there and set
Well,
up
whatever it is.
my own
But just
deductions.
imagine, I don't know what you get or anybody else get. Let's just say you get, for giggles, $20,000
Right.
a year on Social Security.
Right.
Okay, you get $20,000. Your taxable income is on $20,000. Would you rather have 15% of that as a tax, $20,000, or would you rather have 15% of $1 billion worth. Why would you want more than that from a billionaire? A billionaire's, that money that he's making, he is investing. He's reinvesting. He ain't just sitting on it. He's investing. He's buying stuff that he has to pay taxes on. He's investing in other things. Yes, to make him more money, that's okay. But he's going to have to pay taxes on that as well. Billionaires, if he's got $1 billion taxable income, is going to pay more interest than a big chunk of all of the Social Security recipients in this country. So why do you go after that one person or that one group of people? Why not thank them for what they're making, how much they made? Because without just one of them, you would lose 15% of $1 billion, and somebody else is going to have to pay it.
I agree. And then he also says something about all these big social media texts and stuff, and talking about how a negative influence they're having on the nation, and don't be fooled by them, and don't let them do this. Was that aimed at Mark Zuckerberg? Because
who knows?
He all of a sudden decided that, hey, the Democratic Party, he's come out and said this pressured him into taking down different posts on Facebook, putting out the fact checking, and now Mark's taken a different turn, and he's supporting Trump. He took off the fact checking on Facebook, so I think that was a slam at him.
Yep.
So the whole thing was disappointing to me. I mean, it's just like, let's talk junk about everybody. He did make a comment in the end that he was proud to have served. And I'm like, okay.
On our way out, yeah, right.
That's what the whole thing should have been about.
I'm so proud that I got to feed the government trough off your hard-earned tax dollars for 50 years.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Right.
Look what I did for you.
It just Lord
okay. Now, Netanyahu over there in Debo,
let's talk about that
real quick. Like the ceasefire deal. I'm not going to get into who started it or who arranged it or who did whatever. I'll just tell you that for the last 4 years, they've gotten nowhere with it. Yep. And in the last week, because of a threat that Donald Trump made, I think 2 weeks ago.
It's 9 o'clock. Wow.
I know that. I told you that.
Yeah. Oh,
did you? And then they had they've managed to work out a ceasefire deal. However, if anybody, and they've already released some prisoners,
bombing last night,
and if they violates that, then it's on. And well, they've already violated it.
Yes, they did.
Don't know whether they got the message or not yet. It could be like some of the Japanese soldiers fighting on those hills and in the mountains and of the South. They're all alone, and they were fighting for years afterwards. Did you know that?
Yeah.
They didn't know the war had ended.
Oh.
Maybe these people have not gotten that message yet.
It could be.
So who knows? Give them a little bit of a break. But they need to stop it. And I don't see this as capitulation. I think that if we can get them to stop fighting long enough to get the prisoners released, we'll release theirs. And the bad thing is we're going to be releasing some terrorists. We're going to be releasing some Israelis,
as long as they go back.
Some very mean people. Mm-hmm. But it's okay. Once we get all the prisoners exchanged, then Israel, you're free to go do whatever you want to go get those prisoners back. Right. Go for it.
Well, I watched.
There won't be another sneak attack, though.
The live news conference from Israel, Gaza yesterday, and they were crediting both the current administration's team that had been over there and the incoming president, because he's had somebody over there. Then there was another gentleman later on that did an interview from over there that was part of this presser. And he said, we feared what Trump said, that there was going to be hell to pay for if the hostage. So I think, and right now negotiations have come to a halt, but I think that you're going to see that things will eventually be taken care of. But
and I don't care why. I don't care who did it.
That's right.
That does not matter. It
That's
won't
right.
even, day after tomorrow, we won't even remember who did it. We just remember that it's been done if it takes hold.
I just got so tickled
That's it.
yesterday because when it was first announced, Trump went on Truth Social, and of course he was taking the credit for it. And an hour later, that's when Biden did his news presser, and someone in attendance,
Yeah.
a news person asked him, well, has this anything to do with the incoming president? And he turned around and said, you're joking, right? And I thought, oh, here goes the war now. Who did what?
And then he just turned
Does
and
it make
said
a
no and
difference?
walked away.
Yes.
Okay, we will see you tomorrow morning.
Yes,
Do we have
will.
anybody Friday?
Not yet,
Why not?
because I don't know.
I got an idea, so I'll tell you about
Do
it in
you?
about a
Okay,
minute.
that'll be good. Yeah, we have a lot of people that are
'Cause we probably-
scheduled.
With the incoming inclement and the current inclement, cold weather.
We
might
have
wanna
people
talk
that
about
are
it.
scheduled soon. It's just they're kind of far
Yeah,
apart.
we got a bunch of them next week.
Yes.
All right, we'll see you bright and
All
early
right.
tomorrow morning, 7:00. So be careful out there. Get some wood if you got a wood fireplace. Get some. Make sure your propane is topped off if you got gas
I
logs.
need to do that.
And you need
this
to
weekend,
make sure that you're prepared because and if you haven't put any. You should have already done it. I don't think it's going to get any colder than it was last night. But just in case, if you did not take care of your pipes and you start walk around today as things start to thaw out. And if
Right.
you're hearing water running, you got a problem. You got a
Yes.
leak and you need to get it fixed like to the suite. I mean, it's like right now.
Right.
Okay. We'll see you bright and early
All right.
tomorrow morning.
Bye.
You're live and local. Real talk. Where we're always awake. We ain't never going to be awoke. Bye.